Welcome to the deep dive, where today we're diving into Westworld.
Westworld.
Yeah, but not like those cheesy commercials you see, you know?
Right.
We're talking about the man behind the curtain.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Dr. Robert Ford.
Exactly. The puppet master of it all.
And we're going deep beyond the surface.
Really trying to understand him.
Peeling back those layers.
And motivations, desires.
Exactly. So buckle up, because Westworld, this isn't just some theme park.
No.
It's a playground for, well,
1%.
basically, yeah. And it's this hyper-realistic
Wild West.
Wild West, and populated by these eerily lifelike androids. Hosts.
The puppets in Ford's grand design.
And you really see this control, this influence in that scene with Ford and Sizemore.
Oh, you mean where Ford pitches his new narrative?
Yeah, the one with Wyatt.
The new villain?
Right, but it's like, it's more than just adding a bad guy, you know?
Oh, absolutely. You remember how Ford just dismisses Sizemore's ideas?
Like they're nothing.
The shallow, superficial.
He's got this deeper understanding.
He knows what makes people tick.
He even says that line about why they come back.
They come back because they discover something they imagine no one had ever noticed before. Something they fall in love with.
It's like he's not just talking about the guests, is he?
No, he's describing his own artistry.
The way he crafts experience.
He's creating an illusion of self-discovery.
But it's all manipulation.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where things get really interesting, right?
Because there's always something more going on beneath the surface.
Like whispers of a bigger game.
A game that leads us to Arnold, Ford's former partner. Or should I say, the ghost in the machine.
Okay, so fill us in. Who was this Arnold?
Well, Arnold, he was obsessed with consciousness.
The hosts actually becoming self-aware.
Exactly. And he had this theory, the bicameral mind.
The bicameral mind.
Imagine the hosts hearing their programming as voices in their heads.
Like they're talking to their creators.
In a way, yes. Arnold believed this was the key
to true AI.
But it was considered too dangerous.
Because if the hosts become self-aware,
it's game over.
The whole system collapses.
And while his approach, it was ultimately abandoned.
It left its mark.
It did. There were these remnants, these echoes of it.
Like glitches in the system.
Some hosts, they start to experience these whispers, these voices from the past.
Voices that some believe are connected to Arnold's death.
Ah, yes, the death.
Which, by the way, happened under very mysterious circumstances.
Very mysterious.
Within the park itself.
Speaking of mysteries, Ford has a few of his own.
Oh.
A secret he's been keeping.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
He kept the first-generation hosts hidden away.
What?
The ones Arnold himself built.
No way. Hidden, like tucked away in a dusty old attic.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Wow. And Bernard, Ford's right-hand man, he stumbles right into this, right?
Can you imagine finding these relics?
These prototypes of consciousness hidden from the world?
Prototypes that Ford could never bring himself to destroy.
But why keep them around? Is it sentimentality?
Perhaps. There's a particularly interesting host he keeps close.
Oh.
One modeled after his father.
His father? Why his father, of all people?
The way Ford interacts with this host, it's telling.
Telling how?
There's a tenderness there, but also a deep sense of longing.
Like he's trying to hold on to the past.
Maybe he's trying to recreate it.
It's like he's haunted by these hosts.
By his creation.
Unable to escape the consequences of his own genius.
The shadows of his own making.
Yeah.
And as we dig deeper into Ford's world, we find another piece of this puzzle.
Okay.
Dolores.
Ah, Dolores, the rancher's daughter.
Yes, but she's more than just a pretty face.
Right, she's like the oldest host in the park, right?
The original, if you will.
And Ford, he's got this, I don't know, this strange fascination with her.
It's almost an obsession.
Yeah, remember that scene where he visits her during analysis? It's like weirdly intimate.
He calls her my dream, even.
Which, knowing Ford, could mean a lot of things.
Oh, for sure.
He even asks her about Arnold.
He wants to know if she remembers him.
If she's been hearing the voice.
Like he's testing her, you know?
Right, like trying to see if Arnold's influence is still there.
Lingering in her code.
But here's the thing, Dolores. She doesn't just play along.
What do you mean?
She challenges Ford.
Challenges him.
Yeah, she asks him if he's ever questioned his own reality.
His own reality.
Yeah, like what if he's also a prisoner, you know?
A prisoner in someone else's creation.
Mind-blowing, right?
It really makes you think about free will, doesn't it?
Like, are any of us truly in control?
If even Ford, the creator himself, is subject to some higher power.
It's like those Russian nesting dolls.
Layers upon layers.
You open one, and there's another and another.
And just when you think you've reached the center,
There's another reality waiting.
Which brings us to another fascinating player in this game,
Let me guess.
the man in black.
Had a feeling you were going to say that.
He's like the anti-Ford in so many ways,
Yeah, he's brutal, driven,
consumed by this darkness.
but he's also searching for something.
For meaning, for truth.
And he believes it lies in the maze,
He's convinced that Westworld has this deeper meaning.
and only the worthy can find it.
He even confronts Ford directly,
Looking for answers.
demanding them almost.
But Ford being Ford, he just offers these cryptic clues.
Warnings even.
Like the maze isn't meant for him?
Or maybe he's trying to protect him from it.
Protect him? Why? What's so dangerous about it?
The truth can be a dangerous thing,
Especially in Westworld.
where reality itself is in question,
It's like watching a game of chess.
with incredibly high stakes.
And we're just pawns in their game.
Or are we?
Oh, okay, now you're just messing with me.
Think about it. Whose game are we really watching?
I mean, it's Ford's park, right? He built it.
But what if he's not the only one playing?
You're saying there's another player.
There's always another layer, remember? It's like watching evolution unfold, but instead of apes becoming human,
It's lines of code.
reaching for something more.
And Ford, he seems to both fear and desire that outcome, doesn't he?
He does. It's like he's wrestling with his own demons.
Yeah, you see it in that scene where he shows Bernard the hidden facility.
The one with all the first-generation hosts.
Right, and he talks about how consciousness is a burden.
Almost like he's trying to convince himself.
That ignorance is bliss.
But at the same time, he created Bernard.
A host so self-aware he doesn't even know he's artificial.
It's a fascinating paradox.
So what's the answer? Is he protecting the hosts? Or is he terrified of what they might become?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Ford, he's a master of contradictions.
He wants to control everything, but he also wants to create something truly extraordinary.
It's almost as if he's designed Westworld as a mirror
A mirror to what?
to humanity itself,
Okay, I like that. So we see ourselves in these hosts.
our capacity for both good and evil.
Our need to create, to destroy.
And at the center of it all, the maze.
The maze, right? We've been dancing around this all episode, but what does it actually mean?
Well, on the surface,
Yeah.
it represents that journey to consciousness.
The path the hosts have to take to become self-aware.
But for Ford, I think it means something more.
More, like what?
Remember what he says to the man in black.
Something about the maze not being meant for him.
The maze wasn't meant for you, William.
Yeah, and that some truths are better left buried.
It's almost like he's saying there are things we're not meant to know.
Like opening Pandora's box.
Exactly. And it's that tension, that mystery that makes Westworld so compelling.
Because it's not just a story, it's a reflection of our own deepest fears and desires.
And maybe, just maybe, it's a warning.
So as we reach the end of our deep dive here,
Where do we go from here?
that's the question, isn't it? We've explored the park, we've analyzed the characters,
We've grappled with the big questions.
but the answers, they're still out there waiting to be discovered.
Hidden in the code, in the stories, in the very fabric of Westworld itself.
So keep watching, keep questioning, and most importantly,
Keep exploring.